Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to welcome y'all to the show. Look, in the wake of the impeachment of Donald Trump for high crimes and misdemeanors, we want to take a look at the flip side of that. No, you know what we want to do? We want to compare this impeachment, or we want to compare Donald Trump to the Joker. If anyone saw the Joker movie, where in his mind he thought he was doing the right thing to uplift people through his comedy, through laughter, he had a love for humanity, but humanity was had been so trampled on, so beat up to where they couldn't reciprocate that love. Comparison. Trump. A lot of people had questioned his state of mind, questioned his soundness, if he was of sound mind. And a lot of people question his judgment. But his claim to fame, or what he held on to, was economics, money. He believed that if he created jobs, created a stream of cash flow, if he increased the real estate market, if he lowered interest rates, if he brought back factory and industrial jobs back to the U.S. from overseas and gave them incentives to stay here and boost this economy, the people would reciprocate that, and the people would love him for doing such. But no, what happened? Trump, he's getting impeached, but he did improve on the economy. But he did upset the emotions of a lot of Americans. So you'll see people protesting, chanting, impeach Trump. But what are they creating? In the movie The Joker, what did they create? They created a monster. In real life, what are they creating? They are creating a monster. Trump told them at one point, if I'm not reelected, if you don't vote for me, the economy will tank. And he said, you don't even have a choice. You know, basically what he's saying is, your 401ks, your thrifts, your whatever you saved up for, if I'm not elected, you're losing it all. I'll tank the stock market. And what did the Joker have? In the end, you saw the Joker's loyal followers. Hell, one of them even ran a police car and pulled the Joker out. Why? They were saying that, hey, it's the rich. You know, it's the rich that have all this wealth. We have nothing. The rich is arrogant. They're flaunting their wealth in our faces. They're riding in their fancy cars. They're, what did Thomas Wayne say in the Joker movie? That they were jealous because they were less unfortunate than the rich. They didn't have the things that the rich had. It's the same thing as what they were saying about Muslims, or one of the reasons why they banned some of the countries from coming to America, because they were saying that they was jealous of America's way of life. It all twines in together. What are they saying? What trickle-down economics? You know, well, we'll share the bulk of the money, and we'll let a little bit come down to what they deem as the poor. And it's a lot that plays into this narrative, into society. I'm telling you all. One thing is, look, the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you cannot count out the nation, especially black people. White people too, and we'll get to why white people have to, for their own survival and mindset, get into the teachings of the Nation of Islam. But black people, foremost, because that is your mental healing, because it verifies, it's mathematics and science, and it gives you root knowledge on why things are, so you don't have to walk around here speculating. You don't have to have a mindset or create from a false narrative, and you trying to pull something into this reality, but you're standing on a falsehood, meaning you've been lied to. You was lied to by the slave master. You was lied to by the Europeans. You were lied to by the Caucasians. All that because that was their system of tricks, one of them, in order to rule over you. How they gonna rule over you with the truth? That's why you got a picture of white Jesus, the Sky Daddy, and the whole. It was a game, and you had people coming trying to show us that the game that was played upon us, but the game that they put on us, or the tricks that they put upon black people, was so powerful. We still trying to shake that dust off us in 2019 going into 2020. You know, man, it's so much. But I got to stay on target, because I was getting ready to go into the power of that sun that we see when you look up in that sky, and how each summer gets hotter and hotter and hotter, because it's trying to purify the filth off the planet. The sun doesn't know any better. All the sun sees is danger with these pollutants and air pollutants and plastics, and even the foul mindset of men that travels up through these sun rays. And it's like the sun saying, I need to warm up, I need to heat up to protect. It's heating up to protect humanity, to protect the beings that's on this planet. The sun thing is protecting us through all the filth that we created. It doesn't distinguish between who created the filth. All it knows is filth is on the land. I have to raise my temperature up to purify. Maybe I'm because heat purifies. And mankind is so ignorant. We don't even recognize it, and we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. But that's a topic for another day. We'll do that. We'll do one dedicated to the sun, the SUN sun. Yeah, they might even tie it into the SON, but we'll stick to the SUN for right now. We'll do that later date. Back to the Joker and Trump, the comparison. Now, you're going to impeach him, right? But best believe Trump made provisions and was prepared for this, because what he said, you hit me, I hit back harder. Everybody that's out there hollering about impeachment, and, well, first of all, let me say this. Black people, we don't have a dog in this fight. We sitting back on the sidelines watching it, just like when the feminist movement first arose, right? Black men and women had a system that they dealt with each other, going all the way back to antiquity, all the way back to Africa, to Egypt, all the way to Brazil and wherever indigenous was. We had a system that was the same system. The culture may have been a little different depending where you all were on the globe, but for the main part, we had a system on how man and woman dealt with each other. It wasn't until black women got into white woman's fight of feminism because her man, the white man, wouldn't allow her to vote, wasn't paying her well, the same wages, and the way that he basically was treating her. And they, some kind of way, I don't know how, got black women to join that fight, and you saw black women marching with white women talking about we want fair and equal treatment when the black man was like, what the hell are you talking about? No black man is treating you, don't want to see you vote or don't want to see you earn wages. Hell, we want to see you bring more money in the house. Who fight are you taking? It was confusing. And what that led to today, that led to, okay, well, we want to demasculinate men because we feel like toxic masculinity, and I'm speaking I'm speaking for the feminist movement. They felt that they deemed masculinity as toxic, so they said we need to scale things back a bit. Why? Because we had a system of, let's compare the wife was compared to at one point. She was the helpmeet, and we're compared to she was the secretary of the house. She made sure everything went, the nutrition for the children, the upkeep of the house. She made everything was organized, and the house ran smooth. And the man was the head of the house, right? But now they want to switch the roles, or you want to have two chiefs in one home. You know, the woman started with the white. Started the white woman. She wanted to be the boss. She wanted to rule. She wanted to say, "Hey, I can do everything a man can do, and I can do it better. I want my shot of ruling." And that trickled down to everybody home. And some men wasn't taking it. Look, I'm used to a traditional marriage. The woman, she's compared to the secretary. I'm the head of the house. Things run smooth. It's been going that way for centuries. And you want to change things. Why and how? Now you had women who wanted to be men. Then you had men who wanted to be women. And things just got berserko. I'm not dissing anyone. I'm just laying out the changes that took place into society where people are trying to put their finger on what happened to the way things were. And I want to say to black women, but I don't get where did you, when you joined that feminist movement and you got in the midst of a fight that wasn't yours, what did you gain out of it? What did you gain? 70% of black women not even married. And I mean, what did you get out of jumping in that fight? What was your reward? Did you get a medal? You know, you get a Purple Heart? You know, but because I could be wrong. I'm just laying out a timeline. I'm not taking no sides or anything. You know, if I'm coming from a journalist perspective. So don't nobody say I'm bashing anybody, bashing women, bashing the homosexual community, bashing. No. I'm just basically laying out a timeline of what's took place and what's to come from the mindset that was established years ago, and now we starting to see the results of that. We getting the we getting the backfire. We getting the backfire of that. You know, we getting the roughage, we getting the debris from what took place earlier in our history. And now we have to deal with it. But the thing is where's the solution going to come from? How are we going to fix it? Who has knowledge to prepare us for the future once all the blowback hits us in the face, and we say, okay, what do we do now? Because that's the time we in right now. All the blowback is hitting us in the face now. And, you listen to some of these AM talk shows, and they're now white people are saying, what about us? We're being discriminated against. What about racism against white people? And I'm just simply saying, look, white people, you created the system of racism. What are you talking about? Unless you're going to come out and tell the truth and say, well, no, we got it from the caste system out of India. The first original Aryan race, and that Krishna and that swastika, or that Indian cross, that ancient symbol, and you speak on those terms, but you introduced it to the Americas, and you showed how that system worked and how you've gained a sort of privilege from creating that white supremacy system. So now when the other races say, well, hell, if it worked for them, it can work for us. Let's use it on them. Maybe we can gain what they've gained out of bringing that system to America and creating that system. And now you can't cry wolf now and like, hey, you can't use against me what I used against you. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry, it don't. That's not universal law. That's not 360 degrees. No, that's not 720 degrees, because it came back around twice. You can't. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Hell, you created Frankenstein, and it took off with a mind of his own. Did you think that people would be afraid of you because of, I don't know, no one's afraid. When the time was right to apologize, and and it was in the atmosphere, the apology never came. What if, hey, when it semi came, what did it say? It was a day short and a dollar short. How they go? A day long and a dollar too short. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's how that fell flat. It was too late. It was too late. You had the golden opportunity had passed by because of the stubbornness and the unwillingness to see another race as an equal. The mindset. Now, okay, let's get into this, and I'm gone, though, because this popped in my head. I got to drop this off, give you this knowledge. And this comes from me, because I listen to the lectures of Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but I'm not quoting it right and exact, but it goes something like this, right? When Moses came to deliver the message to the whites that was in the Caucasus Mountains, he gave a third of that knowledge to what you call the Jews today. The Jews didn't share the knowledge with the rest of their white family, because all Caucasians are all one family. I don't care what you call them, Jews. You got some that's over in the Middle East, the Tartars, all one family, right? But Moses taught a third of them, and that third was supposed to go back and teach the rest, but they didn't. They took the knowledge and left, and the ones they left remaining in the dark became upset. And so you might wonder, well, why are the white Christians fighting the white Jews? That's the reason being because the third that Moses taught didn't teach the rest of the family, and so they've been at odds since then. And they're at odds today. So they got to figure a way to deal with that. If you want to find a way to deal with that, the keeper of knowledge is, you just do is go ask. Go ask the man. How do we fix these problems? Because he told you one came from the east to the west with the knowledge, raised up one, and that one raised up many with the knowledge, and the knowledge is there. The knowledge is there till this day. So it's up to you all what you want to do. Like I said before, I'm just simply laying out the foundation. I'm laying the groundwork. Like, hey, you can, if you watch that movie, The Joker, and you just take out where he wanted to make people laugh, Trump wanted to make folks money. They didn't understand the Joker. They don't understand Trump. The Joker had followers. Trump got 40% loyal followers. The Joker's followers took to the streets and went berserk. Trump's 40% followers are saying that they won't take this line down. The Joker affected the economy with the riots and the whatnot that took place in the streets as far as hiring extra overtime for police officers and affecting that economy. Trump vowed that if he didn't get reelected, he would, in fact, affect the American economy. So what can we do now? This is history. You heard it first here on Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life to where what we say, you can visualize it and you can see it for yourself. It's like when you were younger reading a good book and you visualize the scene, you visualize the way the sun looked, you visualize the clothes that they had on, you saw yourself in that book, in a good book. That's what we do, Verbal Pick Radio. You can see what we're saying. You see what I'm saying? You can see what we're saying. You see what I'm saying. Can you dig it? Okay. But that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Make sure you check us out and subscribe on the YouTube page, because some of these shows that we do, we put visuals up with them so you can see the visual that it might explain it, what we're stating a little better. Check Spreaker app, hey, Verbal Pick Radio. So many things we got going on, and I'd like to thank everybody that helps me. A-Tone Production, High Frequency, NB Breads, just people who listen to the show, good listeners of the show. Shout out to LaRon Tate, Charles, Low Key, what's up, brother Jamal, Pebbles, and so many people that listens to the show. Shout out to Clifton Bedford, good friend of mine. Just, all the rappers and the artists, and especially the H-Town and whatnot, man, we appreciate your listenership. I just had to take the time out because, hey, man, the times we living in right now, bro. I mean, you got to thank people, you know what I mean? Good shows, and I don't have how can I use the term a favorite within this society, because everything pours on everything. It's like this domino effect, it's consequences, it's causes and it's effects. It's It's everything has to work in unison. And when something's out of place, somebody got to identify it and try to put it back in place or determine it's been out for so long to where the shape changed so it can't fit back in its proper place where it once was. So somebody got to go find a replacement or create one to plug back into the system to make things go smooth, or deem that, hey, without this vital part, it'll never run smooth again. So we have to go back to the drawing board and see what we got to do to make things go smooth. Verbal Pig Radio, we're out.